Oh,
Oh,
Hi,
it's
Terrance.
hi,
Hi,
Terrence.
Terrence.
Hi,
Hello, T.
Terrance. Big T
Hello.
is in
How's
the
it
Big
going?
T.
house.
How's everybody doing?
We're
Doing all
so
right.
Super.
good.
Doing
How are
all
you?
right.
I'm good.
I
A
was
little
reading,
tired,
Good.
but
I feel that.
well, you're a new dad, so like you're gonna be tired
Ah.
all the time.
yeah, sorry.
I love it. We were just talking about different things in the industry and but I think we're good. So Tall, Dark, and Hilarious is here with us. I'm
I love
so
it.
I know I love it too. I love when you sent that.
How tall is Terrence?
Right? When wait before you answer that, I just have to preface. I met Terrence online at the Voice Actor Studio, like all of
Me
you.
too.
We all met, and then I went to a party at the Voice Actor Studio in person, and I remember you walked up to me, and it's so surreal because it's like you see everybody in these like little pictures, right, in these little boxes, and you said hello, and I recognized the voice, and then I'm like. You're like looking up and it just you didn't.
Okay. How tall are you, Jaws?
I'm like 5'7". I know.
Okay. I'm 5.
5 foot flat. That's it.
Pretty yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
I was like 5.5 after I had my back surgery because I went
god.
from crooked to straight.
That's Terrence,
But
you're
let's
so tall. How tall are you?
Um, I think the last time I checked, it was 6'11".
Oh my
So,
god.
God.
and I think I was wearing shoes, so probably 6'10", 6'11", around there. Roughly
Wow.
7 feet though.
sounds about right.
Basketball was not in your future. Did you play basketball? I mean, I feel like
I did until I had knee injuries.
yeah.
Yeah, I played basketball. I started in middle school, played a little bit in high school, but I just got hurt and couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, Lloyd was what you were a wrestler and football player back in high
Yeah.
school too, the same thing. Yeah. I played soccer all the way through my senior year and then I didn't make it to the varsity team. I was like that was the captain of the JV team. Didn't get bumped up and so I turned to drinking and partying and hanging out and but
So teenagers.
I was a
A
teenager.
varsity drinking.
I was just yeah, I went to varsity drinking. I was the captain.
Oh, why?
Um
Somebody I would have had to write up.
oh, were you like
I
were
was an
you
RA.
oh yeah,
This
that's
whole
right.
thing. Yeah.
I would have been the troublemaker. Terrence, I'm okay. So we're all about Meet Your Actor series and highlighting our actor friends, and you're in the hot seat today.
All
So
right.
welcome to the Chaos Table, and we're so happy that you're here. And we want to know more about Terrence, or how we lovingly refer to you as Big T. How did you get started? Like, why voiceover, right? And we're all gonna have more questions for you, but we'll just start there.
Sure. Let me shorten this 3 hour answer into a quick one. But no, I think for me, it all started like 20 plus years ago. I was young teen, early teen, like 12, 13. I mean, I'm a big gamer, always have been, but I played this game called Metal Gear Solid on the original PlayStation 1. And I just remember, the performances, all the voice acting. And it's funny because, I've obviously heard voice acting before that, right? Movies and TVs and other games, but not until that game came out and I listened to it, I played through it, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. This is what I want to do. I want to be in video games. I want to be doing voice acting for these games. And then I went on with my life. Didn't think about, well, that's not true. I thought about it all the time, but I didn't know how to navigate becoming a voice actor, where to look, where to go. I just assumed you had to know somebody or be in LA or Hollywood or whatever. So didn't really do a whole lot with it. Fast forward 20 years, I was burnt out at work. I used to work in the casino industry in Vegas. And yeah, I was just burnt out, and I decided, I think it's time to chase that dream that I've always had. And that's how I found the Voice Actor Studio in Vegas.
Mhm.
And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah,
I
right. So,
remember the first time ever being in a class with Terrence. It was a class with Brent.
Anime and
It was
intensive, yeah.
anime. And we're like, oh, what do you watch? It's like I don't watch anime.
I watched Dragon Ball Z when it came out, and I was in middle school. That's the anime I watched. But I was in that point of my life where I'm like, I just want to learn everything I can learn. I really want to do this, and yeah, so I just jumped right in.
And to be clear, during that class, I was like, oh, this guy's pretty good for somebody who doesn't consume this content.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I did not watch anime. I'm not a character person, but I know most of the people here are character people. Maybe Jane, maybe not Jane. Jane, are you character?
I'm not a character person, but I love cartoons and anime.
Yeah. None of that. But like it's just as wild to see you guys like light up when you talk about the different shows that you watched and how you were inspired by them and and yeah, I never watched Dragon Ball Z. So did you just jump in? Did you do like the intro class? Did you do like the 4 week or like did you go outside of the voice actor
So
studio or how
yeah,
did
so most people, most of my friends growing up knew this is what I wanted. And my partner at the time in 2017 for Christmas got me intro to VO at Voice Actor Studio. So 2017, I got that for Christmas, and then I took the class. I think it was January 2018,
Oh,
or no, 2016. Christmas 2016, January 2017. I took the intro class, and I
wow.
remember it was in Henderson, and they had this little building, and I remember Melissa sitting there in the back, and Melissa asked me why I was here, and I was like, been my dream forever. She's like, you have a really good voice. I think we would, people would love to listen to you. And I was like, cool. Excited. I signed up for the beginner course like right after that class, but I ended up getting a job that took me to Portland, and this
Oh,
was before COVID, so there were no like Zoom classes, no remote classes, so I just had to kind of put the dream on hold for a bit. And then around October of 2022, I was back in Vegas. I had some money saved up, and that's when I took the 4 week beginner course. And then right at the end, like the last week of the beginner course, they kind of asked me what I wanted to do. And I said everything, but primarily video games. So they were like, "Oh, you should take classes with Brent Mukai." And embarrassingly, I didn't know who that was. Um,
you do
because
now
like
though.
I do now, yeah. Because like Lloyd said, I don't consume the media, which is probably hindering my progress. I could probably be doing a lot better if I would watch the people who I'm auditioning against. But yeah, they were like, oh yeah, you should sign up for Brent. So I went on the portal and I just found every class he had, and I signed up for all of those, including the anime one, which was the very next week, where I met Lloyd for the first time, where I met Brent, and yeah, um,
Wow.
I
That's
just
That's so
love it.
interesting because I think Jane did the same thing too. Like, I feel like you started and then you stopped. Is that true? Or you took a break or no? No, you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't.
I never stopped after the beginner course. It's
Right,
Yeah.
been nonstop since then.
right.
It was just that few
Intro.
year gap from the first class to beginners. Yeah.
But I love that you always had it running in the back of your head and that you didn't let it go. And then you like went back and revisited it, because like look where you are now. So I mean, it's amazing
Yeah.
because there's so many people that just don't even get to the point where they even take the intro class or even take that first step. And then you took the
Well,
first step and then life made you pause and then you went back,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
here you are, you're like on the super highway.
So forever grateful for getting that Christmas gift, because again, I was ignorant to the whole thing. No idea how to become a voice actor. I mean, I could have just Googled how to become a voice actor, but never did that. Never did it. Just it was always in the back of my head that it's what I want to do, but it's not something I can do. And so getting that class, or that gift for that class, realizing, oh, this is like a thing. People actually will teach you how to do this.
I know.
I think was a big deal. And then, um, you know, having my first was my daughter was a big pivotal point too, because it just kind of kicked my mind into high gear of like, instead of coasting, I was just coasting at work, you know, just doing whatever. But then having her realizing there's so much I could be doing, one, to support her and do better for myself. So I just started doing more. I got promoted at work, started getting back into management, doing more and more, and then realizing that in order for me to be a good dad and show her that like following your dreams is can happen, right? I
Mm-hmm.
had to actually go out and do that myself. So I really was like, okay, I never took Voice Actor Studio off my mailing list. They were emailing me every week for, you know, 4 or 5 years. I was like, all right, it's time to pony up and do it.
I feel like we all can like relate to that so much because especially well, from a mom's standpoint for me, it was like I always had my kids and my family first, and then to take to put myself at the same point that I had them and take the time to take the classes and follow my dreams, and not keep it on the back burner. So I think that's so relatable.
Yeah.
Now, so what happened then? Like, because you're a full-time voice actor, so take us through that because that's everyone always asks, like, when do I become a full-time voice actor? And I feel like sometimes there's always like these pivotal moments in your life that happen and it kind of like changes the trajectory of your life.
Yeah. So I would say, you know, becoming full time as soon as I did was probably not the best idea,
Okay.
but it was kind of forced upon me. So, you know, I worked in this casino industry. It was very cutthroat. I was
Yeah.
in senior management, so it was one of those things where it's like, if there's a problem, somebody's got to take the fall for it. And I felt comfortable in my situation in my life where I would rather protect my employees um,
Yeah.
than myself. So I got laid off from my job um, right before Thanksgiving in 2023. You know, the corporate world, they don't care, right? So
Yeah, the
that
holiday.
happened. Yeah. And so I said to myself, I don't know, I could update my resume and get right back into the IT world and doing all that, or I can take this opportunity, aka free time,
Yes.
to audition, get in the booth, train some more.
Yes.
So that I became a full time voice actor right then and there, and it's just been um, me trying to maintain that. I think realistically, had I not lost my job, I probably would still be doing that job and voice acting from time to time. But all at the same time, I wouldn't be in the things that I'm in. I wouldn't have time to audition as much as I do,
Right.
to work as much as I do, to travel, to record and stuff as much as I do. So, you know, everything happens for a reason. Kind of
Yeah.
okay
I,
with that.
I love that because I mean, you took a negative and you turned it into a positive.
Yeah.
You took a negative situation that a lot of people could have just been like you said, just and you didn't waste it. You turned it into a positive and you gave yourself some time to be able to follow your dreams fully, like full
Yeah.
time. And that's like ballsy, like that's like
It
that's
really is because
right?
it's not like a 9 to 5 job. You
No.
didn't look for that. You were like,
No,
I'm
I
gonna
want to go
find my
be a voice
dream.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of it is also, I don't know how everyone is, but for me, the fear of not having that steady income and
Mm.
um, that typical stability pushed me harder to make it work. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think we can all relate to that big time. Like we
Yeah.
all have our own you know, stories and where we sat and the decisions that we made and how things unfolded for us. So that's really interesting. So take us through like you said that you've had like a lot of positive things happen for you, you know, and they always say like it's about timing, it's about luck, it's about, and I think persistency and consistency, you know, we've talked about that plenty of times.
Yeah, I think, consistency over time equals trust. And I think casting directors feel that way. Like, I'm sure they've seen my name come through numerous times in an audition or something, and they're like, oh, maybe they think, oh, that was pretty good. Don't know him that well. Uh, you know, Move on to someone else. And then the fourth or fifth or sixth time they hear me, they go, oh, okay, it's pretty consistently good. Maybe now I'm trusting you more to book you for this role. I think the same goes for just, auditioning for myself, consistently getting in the booth, consistently practicing and consistently doing the hard part, which is 90% of the job is auditioning, is what led to the roles that I've gotten and the moments that I've been able to, record and do. Like I think, there's a lot of NDAs out there, but I'm just really grateful and happy for all the stuff that I've been doing lately, especially in 2025 this year. I really believe what's meant for you won't pass you by.
Mm.
So any role I don't book, it wasn't mine. It was for someone else. It was for that person. And so I'm just grateful anytime I see that email come through that, hey, you booked this part because that was mine to book. That was my role to get. And, I don't think in the terms of like coincidence or anything like that, but there have been roles that I've booked even recently where I could probably pinpoint somewhere in my life back from when I was a child that led to that role.
Really?
And so I truly believe that that was meant for me to have. So,
Is there an
That's
example?
beautiful.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
nope, the NDAs will not allow.
Oh.
But yeah, one day you'll know. But yeah, I just it's like that inner child in me is like, oh, that you said you wanted that, you loved this as a kid, or you consumed that as a child, or you grew up enjoying that, and now look at you, you're a part of that, and without telling anyone. Like nobody, I don't go out on the internet or talk to people and be like, this is what I love the most, I want to do this, and then I go chase for it. It's just I just wait until the auditions show up, and I hope and I work hard and I try and do my best in the audition. And again, what's meant for me, will be. So
Like Gabby, I interrupted Gabby. That's beautiful. I think that's what you were going
No,
to say
no,
before.
I was yeah, the I was also gonna ask for like a specific not example of the work, but an example of your childhood memory.
Yes.
um I feel like it would give away some stuff.
Okay, okay,
Okay,
okay, okay, okay.
um
The NDA says no.
NDA, yes.
what
No
I will say,
examples.
like,
We
I
won't
was a
tell
big
anyone.
I was a big
Yeah, we're
yeah.
not telling anybody. No one's
I was
listening. It's fine.
a big gamer, as a kid growing up and stuff. So games that I remember really enjoying, games that I remember putting in like my top five favorite games, to be a part of those franchises or close to those franchises is really cool. I mean, I think I could say there's a game called Run from Mummies.
Oh,
It's on PC, it's on PlayStation, I believe. It's just a small little game where you're a bunch of tourists running around ancient Egypt or whatever. Well, I guess it's not ancient; it's current time. But you're taking photos of zombie monsters and mummies and all these things. And um, I booked that um, early in my career. The game finally out, played it, got to get my character. I'm in there multiple times, but my main playable character that I play as has like a special costume that I had no idea was in the game until I found it myself. And it's a costume of a popular streamer for the Resident Evil franchise.
Oh,
And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever because Resident Evil is in like my top five favorite games. So the fact that my in-game character that I voice, his favorite streamer is a guy who streams Resident Evil games. It just
yeah,
all comes together.
yeah. I
And
love that.
again, the developers had no idea, that was something about me. It just
Right.
happened to be that's how it played out. And again, I think that role was meant for me to have.
Yeah.
I auditioned for it and I got it. And this just little pieces of those characters, I'm in part of those, like I put myself in them when I audition and I voice these characters, but those characters have little bits and pieces of me without even, people realizing.
Yeah. I love that. I love that so much. Bits and pieces of you. Because, that's like, yeah. Go ahead, Ken. I know you have a question.
I was just wondering what his favorite Resident Evil was.
Um,
Me
the
too.
remake of the first one. It originally came
Gotcha.
out on the GameCube. I want to say
Yes.
2001, 2002.
Zero? That was called?
No, it was the remake of one. Yeah.
Remake of
So it came out on the GameCube. That's probably my favorite Resident Evil to date. Um, but I'm a big fan. I've played them all, beat them all.
Gotcha.
So
Nice.
it was just real. I've watched the streamer guy. This is why
Ah,
this is crazy. Is like I'm playing this game. I unlock this costume and I look at it. And I'm like, that's this guy. That's the streamer guy. And I go and ask the devs, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, how did you? What? Like that's literally. I watched this guy on YouTube. Like how it's crazy. So
I love it.
it's just crazy how things come together like that.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I have to ask because you love Resident Evil. Do you know what happened to Sheva?
I don't think anybody
Uh,
does.
I,
she's not coming back. I mean, she should. You know what? I think there's a good chance because there's rumors of Resident Evil 5 being remade.
yeah.
So at the very least, we get to see a newer version of her. But yeah, I don't think as far as lore is concerned, she's still in Africa doing her thing.
You lost me at Resident Evil.
Yeah.
You want to talk Pac-Man or, Mrs. Pac-Man,
Mrs.
tabletop?
Pac-Man, who knows where my career will lead me, but Mrs. Pac-Man was also another big game for me. It was one of my mom's favorite games.
Oh, God.
So
You had
like,
to throw the mom in there.
yeah, I mean,
Let's
she's
not
the
age me completely out here, guys.
she's the she loved that game. So it'd be pretty
Me too.
crazy if somehow I end up in a game where there's Miss Pac-Man, even as a side role or whatever. Who knows?
Throw
But
that
again, if it's meant for
universe.
me, it'll be.
Yeah.
So.
Do you hear
I-
that universe?
Right? I have
Yeah.
to tell you, it is very exciting as a voice actor to, not even realize, like you said, that we call them little breadcrumbs, like happening to you, like
Mhm.
early on in my career, I had check off my VO bucket list commercial that I voiced, and it was a national client, and it was for, and it's just so amazing that you are part of something that you wanted and you didn't really know, maybe you didn't know you wanted it and then it happened, or realize that you wanted it and then it happened, and it's just like it's a really cool feeling. So I'm happy for
Yeah.
you that that's happening for you on multiple occasions.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy. I mean, I feel like, realistically, anybody could. I think there's a saying for it too. Like anybody could find something in anything, right? You could look at something and find a sign of something in your past
Sure.
life or whatever. But I think all of that stuff is important and it to like reflect on and realize. Like, I mean, I just booked earlier this year. I mean, I know it's only February, but earlier this year, this character who's like a humanoid version of an orca whale, and
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's called Shark Bait. You should go check it out. But it's funny because the orca whale is my favorite sea animal, and it's like they don't know that. Why would they know that? I didn't know that going into the audition. I just auditioned for this role, for this villain character, And it just turned out I booked that character, and this is who he is. And it's funny that, you know, growing up as a kid watching Free Willy, thinking that's the coolest animal there, Shamu, right? You go to SeaWorld,
Yeah.
and then here I am 25 plus years later voicing my own version of that. So
I love
That's the
that.
one you sent us, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it is the one that you shared with us, right?
yeah.
Okay, so I have to tell you guys, the whale shark is my favorite sea animal. So if we just anyone else wants to, like anyone else has a favorite sea animal, let's like share now. Okay, round table. Jane, a sea animal? No,
The,
she
the
she
little
says
one that just like from the deep sea, the one that just
a
like
seahorse.
no,
Oh, the little monster.
Lanternfish.
Romanticizing
the
the
little monster
anglerfish that
fish.
everybody
The
The
loves.
lanternfish?
anglerfish.
Anglerfish, yeah.
Oh,
He's
angler.
my favorite right now. 'Cause
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody
Well,
else? have-
keeping real quick, keeping in the theme of video games, any gamer might remember the game Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Very
You
difficult.
I
lost
have
me.
Propaganda.
I have what I'm not sure of, it's not clinically diagnosed, but because of that game, I have a phobia of the ocean. I don't
Really?
like
Really?
whales, freak me out. Deep water freaks me out. The whole game is freaky.
Yeah.
no
I don't like
cruises.
underwater creatures, so I'll stand on that side. I hate them
Okay.
all.
All right.
I'm
Fine.
gonna join Ken on that side.
It's
Oh, yeah.
fair, you know?
Oh, wait.
Really?
Nice.
No,
I got an
wait,
ally in
wait.
hating wildlife.
So no cruising, vacations, or
Well, I know Lloyd hates dolphins,
I was
right?
gonna say
Yeah,
that.
Oh,
his
that's
only
right, the
dolphin is bottlenose dolphin propaganda.
only Lloyd.
I
Lloyd, did you
forgot
get the
about that.
did you get the post that I
I
shared
did.
with you?
I did.
He ignored it. Probably. If it
I
had
didn't
something-
ignore
Totally
it.
ghosted me.
I was like, okay, Jay, you know how I feel about this.
Let's not get Lloyd started on dolphins. Okay, we're gonna move on. But that's
Okay, I'd be
exciting.
an octopus.
Shark bait, or
What would you be, Gabby? I'm so sorry.
Octopus.
An octopus. Ooh. All right. All right, so shark bait. So that's pretty cool. So that's like out in the wild. You know, we always talk about we can't really share if we're under
Yeah,
NDA. Like it's out in the wild.
it released or re-released in on Valentine's this year. I think it's an established property, but they've just now added voices to it, so it's pretty cool. It's also really nerve-wracking because that's like the first time I've joined an established like thing where there's already fans of like these characters, so it's really hard to come in as a brand new voice to
Sure.
what people who may have for years had a voice in their head, right? And then they hear me as this role, and it's like that's not what I thought they sounded like, or I
Yeah.
didn't expect them to sound that way, or you know. But hopefully, more people are gonna hear it and think it sounds good. So
I will say that in the Instagram comments of the announcement, a lot of people were like, "That's not what I expected," but actually, that
I'm
that
here
kind
for
of
it.
works.
They're like,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. We love it. Oh my god, his voice.
Yeah.
like it's almost like why I feel like Link should never talk. It's been
Yeah.
too long.
That's an
Link from the
interesting-
Legend of Zelda. He shouldn't
Yeah.
be talking at this point.
I hadn't considered that. There's franchises out there, yeah, with unvoiced characters that have existed for years, and you
Yeah.
stepped into one and brought yourself into it, and people enjoy it. And
Yeah.
I could. That's crazy.
So, and that's super scary because you want to do a good job as an actor, but also as a gamer too. Like I like just being a part of games, and so to come into that project as a brand new voice for these fans who, you know, again, they've spent this so much time with this character who's been unvoiced. So to them, they always had a voice. It's kind of scary.
That's wild. I didn't even think about that. That's wild. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Lloyd. Go ahead, Lloyd.
This reminds me, and I'm always
Uh-huh.
going to come back to this in my head, but Smite, love that game. Love Smite 2. Smite. I have played more hours in the Smite franchise than any video game ever in my life, period. And I realized on, I think it was Thursday, that for those who don't know, Terrance voiced a skin for the character Thanatos in Smite. I don't play Thanatos like that, and it's a very hard skin to get. But I realized that I have access to it if I save up in-game currency and could buy it. And I was like, you know, I guess I'll buy this, so if I ever do play Thanatos, it'll
It'd
be
be
Terrance
appreciated.
there by my side.
Yeah, Smite's an interesting one because, like I've never played Smite, and I think on one hand, having played the franchise or the game that you like audition for can be helpful. Sometimes it could be hurtful too because you kind of have this understanding or this thought in your head when you go to audition for something you've seen or played before that you're like, okay, this is how it sounds now. Let me deliver how it sounds now. And sometimes that's not what they're looking for. So,
Right.
it's interesting, but at the same time, I like also being able to say that I'm in this game that people I look up to, metaphorically, because I'm not looking up to anybody really, but um, are in, and I get to say that I'm a part of this franchise that these people that I follow are in. Brent Mukai is also in Smite, and so it
Yep.
was really cool to book that. And that game took a long time for me to get in. I think I want to say 7 months of auditioning for it,
Wow.
consistently auditioning. I never missed an audition. Consistently auditioning for that, and it finally landed. And then, to be this character, which is pretty cool. I'm grateful to have been a part of that. And technically, I'm in Smite 2 as well.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if you're lucky enough to have gotten the skin at the time, but yeah.
Yeah, you lost me at skin. I still don't understand any of that, but I think it's
Costume.
cool. Oh,
Yeah,
costume.
costume.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And that right there, when you said I auditioned for it so many different times and it took me 7 months to finally
Yeah.
get in. And that right there is very relatable because we've all been there, done that. You go through multiple auditions for multiple things and you think, why aren't they picking my voice? But again, going back to it's not the right time. Maybe it's not the right time for me. Maybe it's not the right project for me, the right character for me. So just to keep going, right? Just keep doing it. Like I love that.
Yeah, that's definitely a big part of it is like you have to if this is what you want to do. I mean, there are
Yeah.
people who, it's a hobby for them or they just like, dipping their toes and playing every once in a while. But if it's something you really want to do, you have to be consistent. And again,
Cannot
like
give up.
like I mentioned, there's always something I can find, in everything I do. But the Smite one is pretty crazy too because like I said, it was 7 months, 6, 7 months of constantly auditioning, multiple characters, different characters. This one that I actually booked, in the audition spec sheet, it mentioned like they were looking for a certain vocal tone,
Mm.
and it was like a medium high, which is in my range, but not natural. But I looked at this character artwork, and I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna go as deep as I can possibly do for this character. Complete opposite of what they're asking for. But I still ended up booking it. And also, funnily enough, a month prior, I took a class with the casting director. They were at being hosted by a company called Red Scythe Studios.
Hmm.
And why I think it's just so crazy is because the character that I ended up getting has a red scythe. That's his main primary weapon. And it's like
Wow.
like when I say what's meant for you
X-Files
is meant
music.
for you, it really is. It's crazy.
That's a
So
good example. That's what Gabby was asking
Yeah.
about earlier.
yeah,
Yeah, you
there you
just gave
go.
it to us there. Thank you. There you
Thank
go.
you.
And I have to say, when you say that, like you find little bits and pieces in the characters that you were, it reminded me of a audiobook that I listened to, Matthew McConaughey's, and he always said like he'd get the script and then he would like read over the character and he's like, I got to find my guy, my version of this character, but my guy that I'm bringing to this character and like creating it, and putting pieces into it.
Yeah, and I think that part is very important. It's also very difficult because, at least for me, I know we had talked in past conversations about like when you close your eyes, what do you see when you like think of an apple or whatever?
Oh yeah.
And like for me, all I see is a red circle. Like my brain functions that way, so it's really difficult to get a script or an audition call sheet or whatever and like create a whole world out of it. I'm so literal when I look at these things. I'm just like, that's what they want. that, or that's what's written down, so that's what I'm going to deliver. It's really hard to kind of like imagine situations, which is part of the training that I've received. Is constantly mentioning like, hey, you want to think about where you are, who you're talking to, what you're doing, all these things. But my mind literally goes blank when I try and do that. So it's been very difficult auditioning for a lot of things because I try and do that, but it just doesn't work. It literally I close my eyes and all I see is just colors and nothing else. So um, it's been fun, but I think booking that Smite role, going the complete opposite direction, was kind of cool because
Yeah.
I'm sure they got plenty of really good auditions in the pocket of what they asked for, and yet somehow they still chose my version that was the complete opposite.
Yeah. But I think too, like they think that they have an idea of what they want. So that's a good point right there. But then when they hear what they thought that they wanted, it's not really what they want. And then you gave them something that they didn't even know that they wanted
Yeah,
and they
which
needed it. So that it was risky, but I mean,
it worked
that was
out.
cool.
Yeah,
It worked
and I
out.
Did
think
Yeah.
your different take on the character, like you said, you went real deep and stuff. Did they end up using that your version of?
yeah,
Did you
yeah. Oh
stay?
yeah.
They didn't. You didn't end up reverting back to.
No,
Oh
no,
Okay.
no.
I mean,
wow.
My
so they
character is
ended. Look,
still the super deep. Yeah,
man, look that you gave them.
Which, for the
They didn't even know
record,
they wanted it.
is closer to the original character than what they were evidently asking for in
That's
Mass
interesting why they asked for them. Well, it's up to
I
it
them.
have a
could have been
question.
a typo. Who
Was
knows?
it one take or did you give him two takes?
So, funnily enough, when I auditioned previously, I was giving two takes until I took that class, and the casting director specifically was like, "Just give me one take, unless the second take is drastically different."
Mm,
And I don't know what drastically different means because when you're in a session, when you've booked the job, they always ask for an A and a B, and the A cannot be drastically different from the B. You have to
right.
stay in the pocket, right?
Right.
So when I audition, I was auditioning like that, which is problematic. So I just one take the audition for that.
Now, I guess you could have maybe done like a second take in a high pitch.
I
Like
could
what
have
you could have,
had
but
I probably would have had I not taken the class a month prior
right.
because I was consistently doing it similarly in that way,
Hmm.
and they were so similar. Even changing the vocal tone is not drastic enough for certain casting directors. So
Okay.
um,
In character
I've,
work
I've
and anime stuff.
yeah, at least in character work, yeah. So I've been resorting more to just one solid take in the character space for auditions.
Jane, do you have a question?
Aw.
No. Okay. So I was gonna say, like, because this leads me to something that I want to kind of like open up in terms of like our conversation with you. You had said that you took a casting director class or like
Yeah.
yeah. And so I think we've all taken tons of classes at different places, virtually and in person, and it gets to a point in your career where you're kind of like, how much more coaching do I need? Or, what's my direction? Do I, and a lot of people are like, do I do conferences? Do I not do conferences? But you had a really interesting take on how you're pursuing your continued education or continued coaching.
Yeah, so I feel like you never get to a point where you don't need some form of training, coaching, or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, there's always room for growth.
Yeah.
But I feel like I hit a wall, so to speak, in that I was taking a lot of classes with established actors who are really good at what they do, and there's a lot to learn from them as far as how they approach copy, how they audition, and tips and tricks that they have. Which I think, if it wasn't for Brent, I wouldn't have booked so soon after I started. But I feel like I'm at a place now where what's best for me is to take classes and opportunities with people who can make change or who can change my life, people who can put me in things. So like I've been taking a lot more casting director classes, voice director classes, because a lot of vocal directors also cast. So I need to get in front of them because they don't know I exist if I don't get in front of them. And maybe they've heard me here a few times before in an audition, but they don't, there's no face to the name. It's just the voice,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know? So it doesn't matter how good it may sound. I think if they know who is behind that voice and they know this person is easily directable, friendly, professional, they're more willing to work with them. And they get that information from classes because they can hear me every audition and think, "Oh, that's pretty good," but they don't know what it's like to direct me, or they
Right.
don't know how I respond in a live session because anybody could spend 5, 10 hours masterfully making an audition, but when you book the job, 9 times out of 10, probably 99% of the time, you don't have the script, you don't know your character, you have nothing until you step foot in the booth and they start recording. So they have to trust that you can be directed, do the job, do it well, be professional, be on time, all these things. And they get a sense of that in the classroom.
Yeah.
So
Taking those different like specialty classes. I 100% agree with you. That's one of the reasons why, I mean, on a different scale, like I went to a conference, right? For me, a couple years ago, it was important for me to go to a conference so I could, put a face to a name, get out there, network, meet
yeah.
people, kiss babies, shake hands, like meet my fellow voice actors, go to in-person, small group and large group, you know, training classes. So, and actually have an opportunity to read for someone in person because everything I'd done was virtual. But again, that's my story. But I think it's important, like you said, putting a face
Yeah,
to a name is important.
there's just so many factors to the actual job, the actual recording session
Yeah.
that they can't know for sure unless they know what you're capable of. And so I believe it's really important to showcase that you can do those things
Yeah.
because like I said, anybody could spend a few hours fine tuning an audition, but can they walk into the booth with no knowledge of what the name of the project is, who the character is, what you're doing, how long it is, and just go?
Yeah.
They don't know that unless they've seen you do it before,
Yeah.
or they have like if you've got a big resume, it's different, right? But if you're new, if you're trying to build confidence and trust in the directors and the casting folks, you have to showcase that you can do the things that they're going to expect if they book you in. So
Yeah. I like that perspective. Go ahead, Lloyd.
No, I just said right. I was.
Oh, okay. So we're kind of at that point in like the recording, and I really want to like ask you some like fun questions. And you said you were a dad, so are you a girl dad or a boy dad? I'm a boy mom, so I have all three boys.
girls, all girls. My
Oh
whole
boy.
house is filled with girls. My cat is a girl. It's just me. I'm the only male in the home. So
I love it. You only cats? Like you don't have a dog or a
no,
bird or
I just have one cat. I had two at one point, but I donated my younger cat to someone who needed an animal in their life.
Aw.
Yeah.
Wow. That will probably in some way make its way, being a girl dad and having all girls in your house, into a future project for
Yeah,
you.
I'm sure. I know I've booked, fatherly roles just based on being one already.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. We trust the process, and we find the right path. We'll book the stuff that is meant for us.
Yeah.
I really do believe that.
Okay, so what is one thing that you like to do outside of the booth? I think you kind of mentioned it already.
Video games is still pretty big. Um,
Being
I play
dad.
a lot of Street Fighter right now, so that's kind of like the main thing. But primarily, it's being a dad. I just You know, my oldest is 6 now, so there's a lot of fun stuff that we can do together. She's starting the game too, so that's
Oh,
cool.
really?
Yeah, you know, we're
That's
playing
cute.
Astrobot on PlayStation and stuff. So
Yes, my kids are playing it probably right now.
yeah, she loves that one.
Astrobot?
Love it. Love it.
Yep.
I think my kids are too old for that. I don't
No,
understand.
no,
Nobody
no, no,
is.
no,
Nobody
no.
is. It's
Nobody is.
great. It won Game
Okay.
of the Year. Come on.
Astrobot brought me back to my childhood. That's a
Yes.
game anybody could and should play. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's so funny. Okay. So okay, coffee, tea, something stronger. If you're gonna
Water.
water. Okay.
Great water. It's
Straight water.
I don't know why. It is what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's my size and I need to stay hydrated, but and I go through about a gallon of water a day, and I enjoy the taste of it of clean water, so I never needed to like spruce it up with anything, and I don't really like sugary drinks, and I've never had coffee, maybe
What?
once,
Oh,
maybe
Oh,
once, and it's like when you try alcohol too early, or people have, you know, I
yeah.
didn't drink until I was 23, but people who
Me
try
neither.
alcohol really early and they just hate the taste of it and then they don't do it. I think coffee was the same thing. I think I was like 11 or something. I tried my mom's and she just had it like straight black or something, and I'm like, this is gross. Why would anyone drink this? And so I never needed to, never had the urge to do it. So
That's interesting. Um, I love coffee, by the way, so that hurt my heart a little bit.
most people love it, but I just don't need it, I guess. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
actually gave up drinking coffee a little bit ago, and then I just started adding it back in, and yeah. Anyways, that's another story for another day. Okay, last movie you watched. I'm assuming it was probably a kids movie, maybe?
Yeah, but if I had to say like something I watched for me,
Yeah.
and no, it's nothing Ken recommended. Um,
Ah.
although they were pretty good, but they were crazy.
Ken,
what did I? I don't. Did
what
I
kind of
recommend something? I
movies
don't
are you
remember.
recommending?
What did I recommend?
There,
I
there's
watched some
two.
crazy shit, so who
That's
knows?
what
Yeah.
I'm. You don't. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
maybe we'll just keep it for another
The
conversation.
last movie that I watched for me was around Christmas time. It was. Let me look it up just really quick because I
Yeah,
don't
I hate
want
my
to.
brain does the same thing. I'm like,
And
I know the
it'll be the
answer.
rest of my life being like, what was this movie? So let me look it up really quick.
That happens to me
Um,
all the time while you're looking it up. Like someone asks me something and I know I can see it, I can hear it, but like I cannot say the name of it and it's just and then 2 hours later it's like pops in my head when I'm walking the dogs. I'm like, God damn it.
it
Like
was 2023's "It's a Wonderful Knife." I'm
a
a big horror
wonderful
fan.
knife.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love horror movies. I think that's my favorite genre is the horror genre. Movies, games, the whole thing.
Oh,
But yeah, it's like a play on "It's a Wonderful Life," but
it's a
slasher.
knife. Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it good?
yeah, I liked it. It was
Okay.
pretty good.
I don't like horror anything. Like I no. My middle like wants to start watching that genre of everything, and I'm like, you're gonna have to watch it on your own. And I won't audition for anything horror either. Although Lloyd, don't bring it up again. I did get myself into one, and then like didn't realize what because I naively got into it, but like it was a
Terrence,
tiny
I'll
role.
send you that.
Okay, so what's the most recent song that has been stuck in your head? Mine was from the Super Bowl. I mean, like, come on, Kendrick Lamar's song, like that. I can't get it out of my head. It's so catchy, and my kids are like, "Stop it!"
So I'm, man, when it comes to music, I'm stuck in like early 2000s, 90s, 80s.
Really?
But there is a song that's currently stuck in my head. And well, it's not even stuck in my head, it's on my playlist. What ends up happening is if I hear a new song that I like, I will hear it like 1,000 times until I'm sick of it, and then it becomes a part of my like regular rotation playlist. And so right now I'm listening to this song called Head Up by Cheat Codes and Birdie.
Cheat codes?
Cheat codes, like video game cheat codes
Oh,
and
cheat.
Birdie. Yeah, cheat. Um,
Never heard of
it
it.
was it was a random chance. Usually when I'm driving to LA for recordings, I like to throw on my drive playlist. It's a bunch of songs that I listen to that I've been listening to for decades, basically. And if I forget to set it to auto, like play the if after the last track, replay the first track kind of thing, when I
Mm-hmm.
shuffle it, this thing that Google, like YouTube Music, does is it'll start playing music that is similar to what you've been listening to,
Huh.
and that one just happened to pop up like the second or third on the similar list, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. So it's, you know, it's a new song.
Do you listen to audiobooks when you're driving to LA? To
Nope. I
no?
listen to music, strictly just music, which, people have told me many times, like, you should probably listen to podcasts and voice acting podcasts and voice act
Audiobooks, yeah.
coaching and things like that. And I think that's probably a good idea. But um, I I am almost 7 feet tall. Sitting in a car is very painful. I need to get some kind of joy out of the drive, and I know I'm going to get joy out of my playlist of music. So I always just listen to music.
Sing
Okay.
along.
Yeah.
You sing?
Do you sing along?
Oh, of course. Um, Most of the music doesn't have lyrics, so a lot of times I'll just make stuff up. But no, I do like to sing along, mostly
funny.
because I want to, especially if it's for like, if I'm driving down for a session, I want to make sure my voice is well warmed up. I won't overdo it in the singing section or department of it or whatever, but I do, warm up that way.
Yeah, good tip.
What did you have for breakfast today?
I do not eat breakfast.
Oh. Well, what
Me
did
neither.
you No?
No,
I'm
No.
just
I
really
eat
lazy.
plenty otherwise, so
Yeah, I mean, I'm not missing calories or anything for sure. But, like, I just breakfast is it's too much. It's just too much to do. I just would rather do other things. I mean, and especially now with little ones and stuff, I'm making breakfast and preparing things, but I don't eat breakfast.
Okay.
I
And
haven't eaten yet today.
you haven't eaten yet today? Oh wow. Actually, I tend to not. I tend to fast from like 10 to 10, so it's like I guess I'm still partially in the breakfast realm, but not really. Anyone else not eat breakfast? No?
not.
I don't eat
I know. Well, we
breakfast.
heard you can. I'm asking
Dang, you
you.
raised your hand with
Okay.
like shame there.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't eat breakfast.
Eh.
I'm allergic to most breakfast items.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Oh my God. Okay, so if someone told you could only pick one voiceover genre, and that's the
Oh.
only thing you could ever
Video
do.
games.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't even get the question out.
I mean, yeah, it's what got me to want to do it. And here's a really quick story, and I'm kicking myself because of it. I love voice acting. I love what voice actors do. Their performances, phenomenal. 9 times out of 10, I'm just like in awe of what these people do. But I'm weird in the way that I do not know who they are. I don't research who that voice was. I don't like you could ask me a voice actor and I would tell you like maybe 5 because I just don't know them. And I think part of me feels bad because I feel like I should know who these people and these amazingly talented artists are by face and this, that, and the other, and I just don't. And we were at a party, I think, and I say we because we, as in some of us, were probably there at Voice Actor Studio. It was a Halloween party, I think, and I saw this woman there talking to Melissa, chiming it up or whatever, and she was kind of off to the side and with her husband, and I didn't want to bother her or anything like that, but I heard her talk and her voice sounded very familiar. But, I didn't say anything, I didn't approach her or anything like that. Then I went to this event in February of last year in LA, and I saw them again. Same lady, same guy, and everybody knew who they were, and they were all like, they were super popular, famous, whatever. Still didn't know who it was. I'm browsing Twitter 4 or 5 months later. I see the same lady and the same guy, and I look at the name, and I'm like,
Oh.
that was Lori Allen, the voice of Boss in Metal Gear Solid 3. Metal Gear Solid is the game that got me to want to be a voice actor. And
Oh,
I was in the
Oh.
same room with like a legend to me twice. Didn't
God.
introduce myself, didn't say anything. Still kicking myself because I don't know who they are. I don't know what they look like. I try not to idolize celebrities because they're still people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so it's just funny that like this person who has like shaped my childhood and want to do this, I have technically been in the same room with them twice.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
at
like,
least
Crazy.
you can say that.
right?
You were in the same room twice.
Twice. And
Yeah.
never once said hello, anything. Just they were there.
Well,
I want to say something in regards to your comment on not wanting to idolize people, because I've had a similar conversation with with a couple of people about like improv stuff. Like there are a couple of improvisers who are like really big in like nerd media stuff. And there was a point at which we were like, oh, we're probably going to meet these people going to this performance. Don't want to be the weird guy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to idolize them. But I think there's a point at which, for us, like, it's important to recognize that you are doing the work, and yeah, they were somebody who maybe inspired you to do something, but they're not like some faraway presence. Like they're your contemporaries. At like you,
True.
there's a chance that you could be on the same project with L'Oreal one day. Like
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
very true.
and
I mean,
now it's in the universe.
Metal Gear Solid 3 is getting a remake this year. If that does really well, maybe they will keep doing remakes and who knows. The game that got me wanting to do this, I might be in one day. Who knows? Manifesting that for sure. But
What is the
yeah.
game called? Metal Gear?
Metal Gear Solid, yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's a good point, Lloyd. I like that. And you're always the voice of reason for us. So, okay. So this is, what did you say?
Oh, I was gonna say 2 weeks ago I was told I talk like a movie character because
No.
I'm too because I'm too philosophical. Admittedly.
Well, you definitely could go to the Hallmark Channel. No, I'm joking. But, okay. So we're gonna do the fun thing here. And I think I'm gonna change it a little bit because the fun question is roundtable. The original question I'm gonna tell you right now. Your mood right now plus the last thing you ate equals the name of your podcast, but I'm going to change it to equals the name of your video game because I can feel like that kind of fits. So, no? If you had your own video game?
Yeah,
No?
sure.
What? What?
I
Come
want
on.
to hear it now.
Okay. So, all right. So, who wants to go first? Ken has to now because you just
What?
gave me a hard. Yes, you gave me a hard time.
Oh,
So
I
you
thought
have to
this
go
was just for
first.
Terrance. I wanted to
No,
hear
this
it.
is round. No,
He hasn't eaten in 5 days. He has to think about the last time he ate.
Okay, Terrance is
I
the
am
guest.
thinking.
He's
I am
Okay,
he's the guest.
okay,
He
for
will
me,
be like, yes.
What was it? What was it? My current mood and the last thing I ate?
Yes.
Content pudding. I put M&Ms in it.
I put
I don't know why I
M&Ms
did
in
that.
it.
It was really good. So content pudding with M&Ms in it.
I'm crying. Okay. And that goes with it. So you're now content pudding. I put M&Ms in it. That's the
It's in
name of your video
parentheses,
game.
yeah.
Okay. Gabby.
Um,
Oh my God.
happy chocolate chip cookie.
What was it? Happy chocolate. Okay. I love that. That goes with you. Okay. Lloyd.
Preface: this has nothing to do with anything going on here. Conflicted pancakes.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, because you had brunch. You had
Mhm.
brunch earlier with the new friend.
Too
Okay,
far.
Jane.
I ate right before I got into the booth, and so I feel well. Okay, so it's rested spaghetti and garlic knots.
Spaghetti. Rusted spaghetti. I love that. And garlic nuts. Oh my gosh. Okay. What did I have? I had raw cookie dough. So I'm kind of in the same pocket as, or I have to say my mood. I'm going to say, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say, I was gonna say happy, and it's raw cookie dough. So I'm like right in the same pocket as Gabby. We're in the same game.
Equal, maybe.
Except you've got salmonella.
I just, okay.
Yours is a horror game, Jocelyn.
It is a total horror game. All right, Terrance, you're up.
So I mentioned my mood when I got in. I'm tired.
Yes.
So my game name would probably be Very Tired Tacos.
Very tired tacos.
I like it.
I like
I
it.
love
I
it.
play it.
I
Game of the year
play it.
2025.
Which is funny that you did this, right? Because there's a lot of shovelware on our current platforms right now, gaming platforms, and there's a ton of games like with food in the name, like jumping taco, running sushi, like just stupid names like that are making the waves in the video game world right now. So,
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there you
Especially
go.
with AI generation.
yeah,
People are
just junk.
Yeah.
Junk games, but it's just funny that these names all sound similar enough
They
to
do.
what we see.
Is that a
I mean,
real game?
some of them
Tired,
are good.
tired tacos.
I sometimes feel that way about new artists too. Like I feel like I'm just like, where did that name come from? But again, like some of the stuff that I followed back in the day, I'm sure, you know, other people would be like, what? Pearl Jam? Like what? Like come on now. Be like Green Day? Like come on. You know what I'm saying? So it's all like relatively whatever.
I feel that way about anime titles these days.
Oh my God.
Some of them are like
Oh my
paragraphs
God.
long.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, I woke up in a fantasy land with my father-in-law.
I
And
saw
I'm
that
like,
one, yeah.
I just made that up.
But there's one very similar to that. Yeah.
Is there really?
Yeah. They're
Oh my God,
crazy.
it's
Oh,
hilarious.
it's funny.
Okay, so who's gonna ask the final question?
We know
Lloyd?
the answer.
Well,
Terrence,
Yeah, let's just skip it. We know
what
the
is the one thing in life that you were the most proud of?
My kids.
yeah.
We know the
Yeah.
answer.
We all know the answer.
Right, correct.
Correct.
Oh, can I ask one more?
Yes, absolutely.
What do you think your inner child would say about where you are in life right now?
That's good.
Holy crap! You got to do that.
You went deep. You just took it all the way down.
But that's the answer. Holy crap! You got to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I
That is awesome.
I cannot say what it is, but I will say I went to LA a couple weeks ago for a role. I had no idea what it was because again, you get there, you don't know the name of the game, you don't know the genre of the game, you don't know anything. And I walked in there and the script popped up on the screen in front of me and I saw one word and I said, I know what this game franchise is. And my inner child was just like, holy crap, you get to do this.
I love it.
And I was just a side character, and I was still ecstatic. And then
Cool.
I did my job. We still had time left over. They were like, hey, we really loved what you did. Do you want to read for this more important role? And I said, of course. Of course. To be in this world, of course. And so I did my thing. They said, hey, sounded pretty good. We'll let you know what the client thinks. And if they liked you, we'll bring you back. If not, thank you, and we'll let you know when it comes out. And I was like, cool, no worries. Just happy to be in the room, happy to be in the world of this thing. And then I got a call back, and they wanted me for this much bigger role. In this
Chills.
franchise I've loved since I was a child, and it's a much bigger role. I finished. It was like 3-4 hours long the second time around, and then they were like, "Yeah, we'll see you in phase 2 in a few months." It's this huge thing, this huge project, and I'm just
Wow.
like, how did I go from working 24/7 in a casino, burnt out, hating everything, to one day I'm going to be in this project that I've loved for decades. I don't know.
Ah,
I love
chills.
that.
Yeah.
And when I auditioned for it, um, it's funny because I auditioned for the character I ended up booking twice because the first time I auditioned for it, again, I know nothing about what the project is. You're just kind of reading the lines. The character I ended up getting had those same lines. I remember the audition of that character. So I auditioned for him, didn't get him, got something else, did good enough that they wanted me to audition again for this same guy
That you didn't get.
with more
Yeah.
context, and now it's mine. So again, everything happens for a reason. What's meant for you will be yours. It's just you
Hmm.
just have to continue going. You have to continue doing and not giving up. And there's been many a times when I've wanted to take a break or quit and stop, and it just that imposter syndrome gets to you where you're just like you're not good enough, you're not talented. Stop wasting your time, go do something else, go make money. But
Yeah.
I just can't. This is something I've wanted for so long, and I'm finally doing it. And I'm doing it in the way that I thought I was going to as a child in video games. All the other stuff has been great. The Netflix shows, the animated shows, the audiobooks, the commercials, the whatever. All that stuff has been great, and I'm grateful for any and every role that has been presented to me and I've done. But video games is what stroked the passion for it, and just to be in video games of any caliber, indie, it doesn't matter. I'm just so thankful that um, 20 plus years later, I can confidently say I am a voice actor. So
I love that. I think that's so inspiring. Yeah, I love that. So if anybody wants to find you, let's do this thing. If they want to connect with you, if they want to follow you, well, you're not really on, did you say you're not really on social media?
yeah, I don't like social media. I don't like what it does to people. I don't
I know.
like um, it really, especially if you have imposter syndrome or you feel like you're not doing enough, and then you go on social media and you see all these other actors,
I know.
people just announcing everything. One, you don't know how long they've been at it. I know sometimes you'll see a specific actor who's just like constantly in stuff.
Yeah,
They've probably put in decades of work to get to that point. So, you can't feel like you're not doing enough when you see, others winning and making it. But also, there's just so much toxicity in there. It's just not a fun place. However, I am on Twitter at Cinderkin, Cinderkin. I am also on Blue Sky at terranceaddisonactor.com. Um, and that's it. I mean, you can find me in gaming spaces also under Cinderkin if you like playing video games. But for the most part, I like to stay to myself. I like to do my own thing. I'm not on social media in that way. I don't really let people in and tell them all about my life.
that's
Just
okay.
just so
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. I know yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with social media for sure. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it, and then there's sometimes where I'm like get into it and then I like went for one reason and ended up just like doom scrolling and I'm like 30, 40 minutes later I'm like, "What the hell? What's happening? What day is it? What time is it?"
yeah.
Wait,
And I mean
website?
it is a business though. So and
Yeah,
my
it is.
website is terranceaddisonactor.com. Very
Oh,
long, too long. Terrance Addison was taken, and I don't think they're using it. But
right.
um,
That's how we got the Jane Aquino, right?
I'm the only Terrance Addison on IMDb, so that's cool. Um,
Nice.
Sick.
but yeah, I'm just so grateful that I'm here. That even
Yeah.
anyone wanted to hear my story. I mean, it's just kind of wild that 2 years ago I was like, all right, let's go do it. Let's voice act, and I'm in projects that I've always wanted to be a part of. I'm in projects I didn't know I wanted to be a part of. I'm in projects that I didn't know would be so fun. And I've always had the mindset of like not worrying about specific projects. 'Cause I know people sometimes will ask like, "What's your like what do you want to be in or like what's your goal thing?" And for me, my goal role really is just stuff that is age appropriate for my kids that they can enjoy it and they'll have fun and they'll like it.
Hmm.
Um, and everything else is just icing on the cake.
I love that. Thank you so much for like hanging out with us and like,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Want to
I'm
say
oh yeah, go
something,
ahead.
Terrence, that it's been really cool knowing you all these years and seeing your